Hello, welcome back to Two Big Bitches with a Lot to Say. This is your host, Jennifer.
This is Jennifer's co-host, Fernando.
You are my host. We're both hosts.
Co-host.
Okay. Welcome back, guys. We want to start off by just thanking you guys for the amazing feedback on our first episode. We were just completely fucking overwhelmed. I didn't even tell you, we have a listener from Germany.
Germany? Shout out to the boy in Germany.
Or girl.
Or girl, or anything
They,
in
them,
between.
you know.
Anything in between, shout out.
So we just want to thank you guys for the positive feedback. And before we even continue with this episode, which the topic of this podcast is going to be
Why are we like this?
our childhood and who've traumatized us. We're going to point the finger and blame people.
My dad.
Shut up. We're joking.
No.
Before that, we want to let you guys know that in the description of wherever you're listening to this podcast, Spotify, Anchor, we're on YouTube, there's going to be a link, and on that link, you can anonymously send us a message to let us know any topics that you guys want us to cover.
And you don't even have to do it honestly. Like, if you want us to talk about, like, I don't know, what our plans are for the future, and we can give you a shout out or whatever, if you want to be known, leave your name, age, and social security number.
Right. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to be talking about our childhood. Anything else that you want to say before we move on?
No, it's good to be back. That recording that we posted last Friday,
Yeah.
It was like a month ago, and we were having trouble editing. So if you know any tips, tricks, or anything in between, let us know.
Yeah, that episode was months ago. Like
October, before my birthday? No.
Yeah, I think so.
A little bit after.
Maybe.
Like October.
Like you mentioned that you were security, which that did not work out.
I quit. I fucked that job.
Yeah.
So. 2 days, quit. It was depressing.
Yeah, it wasn't a good path. So, but we're on to bigger and better things now. Life moves forward.
Yeah.
So, for starters, we want to let you guys know that we both had very different childhoods, which is why I think you guys are going to enjoy this podcast episode. So, I grew up with, I guess you would say like a regular-ish, normal-ish family structure. And you grew up with divorced parents.
Yeah.
And you did, I don't know if they know this, but you moved to California from Texas.
Yeah, I was raised in Texas City, Texas. But I was originally born in New Mexico, but only lived there for a year.
So what was it like growing up in Texas? Like, what was your childhood like? Were your, parents around? Like, your siblings? Like, you have an age gap?
Yeah, so growing up in Texas City was, pretty normal for me. I was a little kid, just go to school, go back home, go to the park, eat, etc., play with the neighborhood kids, and go back home and repeat. My parents weren't there all the time just because they worked the whole day and all night, so I didn't really get to see them.
So like you mentioned, your parents divorced and then you ended up here in California. I guess as a kid, did you notice things that led up to the divorce, or were your days kind of just normal? I feel like kids are easy to notice, but did you?
No, not really, because of my parents worked a lot. And I guess that's also a reason why they divorced, because they didn't see each other a lot, or didn't have that communication maybe. But no, I didn't really realize it until I guess a couple months before we left. So that's when I started realizing the arguments happened more.
Right. So you mentioned that your parents worked a lot. Did you see them a lot, or how was that like?
I feel like I saw them a good amount of times, but no, not really for I guess the normality
Amount.
of normal amount of when you're supposed to see your parents. I saw my mom in the morning and my dad in the morning, and then I saw my mom in the afternoonish, and then she left for work, and she worked from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m.
So you basically throughout the week when they worked, you saw them for an hour a day.
Yeah, and then I saw my dad at night when he came
it.
home from work, but I had to go to sleep for school, and I didn't see my mom until the morning.
And how was that? You didn't
Were
you distracted?
I was distracted because, like I said, we lived across the playground, and my parents worked, so I was at the playground all day, and then my sister had to pick me up, or tell me go home, because it would be 8 or 9, and it'll be an hour before my dad got home.
Was it expensive to live in Texas? Is that why they worked so much, or what was it?
I mean, during that time, I think my dad made $10 an hour, and my mom made 11.
That's a lot, no?
I mean, but it's still equivalent to Like, you get paid $20
Because, like,
here.
I know right now in Texas it's pretty affordable to live. Like, your dad doesn't work as much as he used to, but he's, like, comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, right now he is comfortable just because it's, like, I guess, easier to live in Texas now. But back then, I mean, honestly, I think I'm just rounding that my dad made $10 an hour and my mom made 11.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was the same thing. I think rent was like 1,000 a month, and then groceries, bills, and etc. Yeah, that's why they had to work so much because 3 kids, 3 mouths to feed, including themselves. So that's why they worked 12 plus hours a day.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, not sad. Kidding. I love my parents.
I mean, yeah, but, like, I feel like normally, like, that's like a child, like, CPS case right there. Like,
I mean, now that I think about it,
I'm
I
calling the fucking cops.
can't call the cops.
Why not?
Do you have proof?
Yeah, the neglect.
The trauma.
The
No,
fact that you were playing at the park every single day for, like, like,
just
literally.
Monday through Friday.
No más? Like,
Yeah.
you would get out of school and what? You would just play? Like,
Actually, I would go home and eat, and then my friends would knock on my door, and then
would
tell
your
me.
mom, like, leave food for you guys and shit?
Yeah, she left like good food. Like the food you eat right now in my house is the food we ate.
Yeah, we basically eat Tex-Mex at his house, which
Yeah.
is different from me.
Yeah.
Cause, like, my mom, like, only sticks to, like, strictly Mexican beaner ass food.
Yeah.
But his mom will, like, make, like,
Sloppy
brisket
Joe.
and, like, sloppy joes and Texas toast and shit
Yeah.
like that.
On
Which is
occasion.
bomb.
And she makes like the good Mexican food too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tamales, best tamales out there.
Shout out Marlene Ariola. If you want to buy some, let me know.
Social Security. Just kidding.
None.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I can't, like, imagine, first of all, like, going through watching your parents, like, divorce, right? And then, like, moving to California.
Actually, they didn't divorce. They separated, but now they're divorced.
Okay, yeah, but they separated, and you come to California where you know no one except for your aunt. Like,
I
that's,
didn't even
like,
know my aunt.
okay, well, you know no one, basically.
Yeah.
And, like, did you get fucking bullied? Because I'd bully the fuck out of you. Yeehaw ass.
Maybe I got bullied. But yeah, I got bullied. Yeah, so the transition from Texas to California, it wasn't easy, but like, you're the new kid, and I thought California was like sunshines, beaches, palm tree, like some Santa Monica Boulevard type shit.
Boulevard.
Nah, this is unnamed location.
Yeah, it's just like the Bay. We're from the Bay.
Yeah, the Bay. Like, I didn't like. We're in between mountains. Like, I
Yeah.
bought all tank tops.
We're between San Jose, California, and San Francisco, California. So, like, either
do the
you're
math.
like, either you're in any of those cities or there's nothing to fucking do.
Yeah, you have to go like.
Hella far.
Yeah.
We only have Target in what?
The funny thing is, in Texas, our Texas Target is Walmart. So everyone goes to Walmart. No one goes to
Right.
Target.
Really?
But here, it's like, you go to Walmart, broke ass.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I guess, like, the life here is different than what you see in movies. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know.
expecting, like, going on my longboard and being on my son. Nah,
all tank tops.
I gotta wear a helmet because it's illegal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just different.
I
But,
remember
like,
I got pulled over by a cop. He's like, you gotta wear your helmet. I was like, why?
how old were you?
I was like recent, like when I was 12, 13. There's
You were
like,
like, y'all.
I was like, y'all do this?
Y'all do this? Yeah, but I don't know. I just, like, I feel like at that age, what, 13?
Yeah.
At 13, you're, like, discovering yourself and you're going through puberty and, like, you're changing and you're like, why the fuck am I growing hair in my armpit? Why the fuck is my voice deeper?
Why do I have ass hairs?
Why do I have ass hairs? Why X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And, like, then it's like, oh shit, let's go all the way to fucking California
Yeah.
where I know no one. I feel
Yeah.
like that would make me very, like, sad.
It was sad at first because like, even though my dad wasn't around,
Right.
it's still like your dad,
And how was that, like, how do you think that affected you now? Like,
Boy, let me tell you something.
like, do you, like, look for your dad? Like, as a woman, like, I feel like growing up without my mother or, like, a mother figure would be super fucking hard on me. Like, I like starting a period and, like, navigating the world as a woman. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to learn that from my dad.
Like, I didn't, yeah. I mean, like you said, you don't know how to grow up without a mom. Or you wouldn't know how to grow up without a mom.
Right.
And I didn't grow up without a dad. Not saying that my dad's horrible. He still, like, looked out, tried to talk to me and stuff.
He tried
but
his best.
He tried his best, but it's not like he's 3,000 miles, or I don't even know how far, but 3,000 miles away. and I'm here growing up, not knowing like what the fuck to do.
Right.
I had to learn everything on my own,
Right.
sort of. Didn't have a father figure
Mhm.
growing up.
Especially like in high school, I feel like that's like okay in middle school, like obviously like it's hard just like trying to discover yourself.
Middle school, I was just getting bullied.
Right. And then you go to high school where you're like, okay, like now I have to think about my future and like
Yeah, high school, I was the not like I was just known. I was, me of me, and that's it. Not trying to be like that.
damn, you're so
So
cool.
they only knew me because I got bullied.
Wow, the fucking guy from Texas.
Y'all. But yeah, like I guess that transition from those 2 years I was here from middle school. I don't really think nothing much of it. In seventh grade, I met my friends
Yeah. What else?
Chancho, Anthony, Nico, and Carlos.
Damn. He has
Yeah,
a whole list.
that's it. That's just seventh grade. I have more of a list. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I met them, so like they bullied me, but I would bully back.
You
So it's
weren't
just,
alone now.
yeah, I wasn't alone anymore. So yeah, I mean that transition. Being in middle school was fun, but you're a kid.
No, middle school was like fucking horrible. Like everyone gets bullied in middle school. Like I know damn well you listening here, like you got bullied in middle school. Everyone did. Cause kids in middle school are mean. Like at that age, everyone's fucking insecure, and they just project.
Yeah, I was a fat kid.
Yeah, but then other like fat kids bullied you because they were like ashamed of being fat. Like, come on,
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I was just a quiet kid.
that's
I'm
good.
still the quiet kid.
Yeah, you still are.
But yeah, but again, and then now the transition to high school. Now it's like you gotta talk to females. You gotta do X, Y, and Z. You gotta have a car by like junior year. You
You're
gotta
getting
get
your
a license.
license.
X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z. People start drinking and shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like people are doing the deed and stuff. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I'm only 15,
Yeah.
and I didn't know anything about this. I had to learn the birds and the bees from
YouTube. That
yeah
one. That
that one
one.
YouTube show. Like that's how I learned. Not trying to like everyone does it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's just a part of growing up.
Yeah, so like I had to learn that. I didn't learn driving by myself. We'll talk about my boy in a minute, but yeah, like it was just the transition from middle school not knowing like who you are into going into high school like you have to become someone.
Yeah.
Then it's like
It's
where my
almost
daddy
impossible.
at?
Yeah.
Where my dad at? Speaking of dads, how was your dad like? How was your childhood?
My childhood was like the complete opposite of yours. Like I grew up with parents who weren't divorced but should have been divorced, but like
We don't get into that.
yeah, it was just like they were there and it was like basically your basic family structure. I grew up with three older siblings, much older, like 13 plus age gap. So I felt like I was basically an only child growing up, right? I like built solitude. Like I loved being alone and I still do love being alone. My I guess day to day was like I grew up in the Bay. Like where you met
Yeah.
me here, I grew up here my whole life. I was born in the Bay and will die in the Bay basically. Back then it was just like, typical like you go to school. There was no fucking buses picking us up though. Well,
The
not for me at least.
VTA, that's something new. VTA for you. I don't know. But
I didn't take VTA.
Oh no, but the
I
buses
don't
here
think
are
kids-
VTA.
You're weird as fuck for bringing that up.
Oh, that's
That's so
buses.
fucking random. Stop interrupting my half of the podcast.
Sorry, co-host.
Yeah, check yourself. Co-host. I'm the host. I'm the main.
Since you grew up in the Bay, how was your day-to-day life being an only child, like in the Bay Area? Like what did you do Monday through Friday and Sunday and Saturday?
Well, in elementary school, there wasn't really much for me to like do. Like, I would obviously wake up pretty early because my dad was he worked full time too. He has his own business. So, yeah, shout out to that. That was like a blessing from God. But so we were like, okay, like money wise, like we didn't struggle at all. And like, that's obviously not to brag or anything, but like, my dad had to work hard. We didn't struggle or like there was no need for my mom to work, but still my mom felt the need to work. And so she did. So I basically would wake up early, like at I don't know. I'd be at school like at 7 in the morning because my dad had to work early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So he would drop me off, and then I would go to school, and then go do school, and then I would stay late. Like I would be in like KLAS or like after school programs.
Yeah.
So I had to stay until like 5 or 6 because my parents would get out late.
And how was that like, KLS?
I
like,
hated it.
daycare?
Yeah, after school programs were like okay, like I fucking hated it because I just wanted to go home. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
like, as a kid, you just want to go home. You have your own fucking toys. I had my DS at home. Like, I wanted to play, you know?
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
I gotta do this shit more.
I gotta be forced to do homework and then, like, play around with, like, the kids that bullied me, too. It was just whatever. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It was just kind of, like, a part of my routine. And be so fucking happy when my parents would pick me up early.
Yeah.
I remember that, for
Yeah.
sure. And, yeah. But, and then in middle school, it was basically the same thing.
You're older now.
I'm older now. I, like, started my period when I was in 5th grade.
Ew.
So I was, like, super fucking young. That's still elementary school, you know?
That's crazy. Imagine
It's
just like
scary.
playing with your people and just
No. So story time. What happened is I was like the fucking lab, like the not the computer lab. I was in the
computer. I thought you meant science lab.
No. I was in the computer lab and we were working on like math and shit called GG. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we were playing, right, or doing our math work, and then I felt like a sharp ass fucking pain, like a cramp,
Yeah.
and I was just like, this is weird. I had learned about, like, you know, they'd given us sex ed talk, but, like, not that descriptive, I guess.
You're like, damn, this shit's happening right now.
No, so I go to the bathroom, and I pee, right? And that's just, like, light pink. Like, not to get too specific into details, but that shit was, like, light pink. Hold the fuck up. Like, what?
Something's happening to me.
Something's happening. And then, so, like, I wash my hands, go home. Like, it was, like, the last, like, few minutes of school. So I walked to my house, and then I go, like, the whole day just, like, playing on the computer. And then I felt like I peed myself.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no way, I fucking peed myself without knowing it. And so I go to the bathroom and I'm fucking bleeding, like, straight up fucking homicide, like, fucking crime scene up in there.
On that CSI shit.
Yeah. And then I call my mom on the home phone. Because
On the
I didn't have a
home
phone until I was a freshman in high school. And so I call my mom. I'm fucking dying. This is it. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna die, Mom. Like, what the fuck, man? And then she's like, oh, you just started your period, mija. This and that. And I'm like, what the fuck is a period? I'm not ready to be a woman, man. I'm not ready to do the cooking and the cleaning. And
You
then,
don't do the cooking and cleaning.
that was that. Like,
No.
I went to go by myself later that night with my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah, my dad took me.
He's like, what?
I was embarrassed,
Sport
but
mode or regular mode?
thick pussy or thin pussy.
When was this though? Like early 5th grade or like already gonna be in middle
I think
school?
like like late 5th grade.
Oh, okay, but like still though, like didn't you
Yeah.
have to like wear pads? Like,
Yeah, I wore pads. My mom would like put the pads on my underwear and shit.
what
And
the-
like my
You
dad,
change your diaper?
I like slept with them like that whole like week that I had my period, and then I would cry myself to sleep, and she felt bad. It's just a part of being a woman, you know.
Just deal with it.
Yeah, basically. Like
Yeah.
I said, like my mom was there, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like my mom wasn't there, it would be a lot difficult.
Imagine if it was your dad.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like I'm grateful like they hashed out their differences and like, you know, no pun intended. If you know, you know. But
I'm the only one who knows.
but yeah, they're good now, and like
Yeah, they love each other.
they love each other, and like yeah, I grew up like fucking spoiled. Like I'm sure my cousins can like testify to that, because I know they hate me because I was spoiled as fuck. But yeah, it was just
But you worked hard for your shit though.
yeah. I like obviously like I couldn't physically work, but like
Yeah.
my dad had this thing where as long as I earned good passing grades, like an A or high, or like an A basically,
Yeah.
he would get me what I wanted. He would take me to like the mall.
Yeah. So how was like weekends? Like your parents did your parents work or did you stay alone?
No, my parents didn't work on the weekends. I think my dad would work Saturdays, but he would get out early.
No, like 1,
Yeah,
12, 1.
like around that time. We would go out a lot.
Mm.
We'd either go to my cousins. Every weekend, we would go over to my uncle's house, and we'd all hang out and, like, mess around with each other. And I liked that because, like, obviously I didn't have siblings to do that with. Like, they
Yeah.
all had someone at least. And I was just like...
Your siblings, when you were 12 years old, they were like, drinking and shit.
Yeah, they were, like, in their 20s.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
So that was my, like, weekend
Yeah.
as a kid. Like, just be with family or, like, we'd go
out to
shopping
dinner
and
shit.
eat dinner.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, we'd go out to dinner. Me and my parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much my childhood. I don't know, it's like pretty like typical. It
Yeah.
wasn't perfect, obviously. Like there's this weird fucking thing about me. I don't know if anyone can relate. There was something traumatic that happened in my childhood that made me like completely forget my childhood. Like it's very hard for me to remember like specific things unless I like there's something that like I'm like really 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 thinking about it. Like if you tell me to describe like right now, like I'm struggling because it's very difficult. Yeah, it's like I blacked out. Like I don't know.
And she's drunk, guys.
I'm drunk.
Enough about your childhood. But no,
Fuck
I'm
my
kidding.
childhood.
Yeah. Um, how was the transition from like being like that, like daddy's little girl,
Mhm.
to becoming like the young woman of like being the only child? Like
Right.
basically going from middle school to high school, knowing that, you're
Mhm.
boys X, Y, and Z, all that
Right.
shit.
Like in middle school, I was already like I got bullied a lot. It was just I was like insecure, but like I didn't let it get to me because I had a really good group of friends. Like they
Mhm.
were so awesome. And then up until freshman year, I would hang out with them, and then like we just kind of like faded. Like it was just like
Yeah,
we were on different paths, but
not destined.
not destined to. I mean, I still talk to some of them. You know, they're awesome, and but yeah, like high school was difficult. Like I mentioned before in our first episode.
If you want to go listen to
Yeah,
that,
go watch
it's the
that.
first
Because this
episode.
episode will make a lot of sense if you watch the first one.
Go back to that one.
They were really, really strict on me because I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Maybe they
But,
knew because this is like the time to like get into college and like I feel like your
hmm.
dad had that idea of like if you fuck up here, you're gonna fuck up like in college, or you're not gonna be able to go into college, Because I feel like in the movies or stuff like that, they
In
see
the
kids
novelas,
in
in
the
Rosa de
novelas,
Guadalupe.
yeah, that shit, and then they think it's like, oh, you drink in high school, you're not gonna go to college.
Hmm.
You smoke in high school, you're not gonna
Yeah.
go to like that shit.
Some of their rules were like no phone. I got a phone freshman year, and it was like monitored. Like they checked my phone, and
Really?
like yeah, they checked my phone, messages, stuff like that. I remember like we had a Wi-Fi box, and they would like if it blinked, because you know like with Wi-Fi boxes, if they blink, that
Yeah.
means someone's using the Wi-Fi.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. To
So
this,
no.
damn.
So
Really?
they wouldn't check if they would have it in the living room. So
Uh,
if I were in my room and I was like it was time for me to go to sleep, they would check, and if it was blinking in the middle of the night or something like that, they knew I was on my phone. And I remember they would like call me out on it sometimes. And I would try to be sneaky, and I would get like a Sharpie, and I would like cross out the line, but they picked up on that too.
damn.
But yeah, so like
Oh, so it wasn't
I
playing.
know they were not playing. It was mainly my mom. My mom was really strict, but my dad too, but like it was like
Your
whatever.
daddy's little girl.
Yeah. I couldn't have a boyfriend. I couldn't what else? Like I couldn't obviously go to parties and shit like that. Like oh, and if I was out, I had to be before sundown. Like if it started like it was dark outside and I was outside, ass beat right there. So
No.
it was just a bunch of little shit like
No.
that. Growing up, I was like, what the fuck, like,
Does it get annoying? It
like
got annoying.
yeah,
Huh?
and like my friends would like invite me and be like, let's go out, like fuck it, like whatever, and I wouldn't even try
I
it.
bet you would say, "Let me ask my dad," but you never would ask.
Yeah, cause like hell no, I knew, like it was just no. When it came to like dating and stuff like that, I had to be very sneaky with what I did, because they obviously wouldn't approve. Duh.
Yeah.
And but like I always remained focused. Like my school was my priority,
Hmm.
cause I knew that. But yeah, it was just whatever.
Your life was just in high school, not outside of high school.
Yeah, I had no social life at all. Like I wish I was more involved so I could have a social life. So now we want to like do this specific segment where we're going to talk about one like important key event or thing that happened in our childhood that like really made us who we are. What is your traumatic thing?
It would be probably like growing up without a dad.
Mhm.
I don't want to sound sad or anything, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't
People
grow.
with divorced parents.
People with divorced parents, it's either mom or dad, and unfortunately, it was my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like I said, a couple minutes ago,
Mhm.
high school was really tough for me because not growing up without a dad, it was hard. It was mainly hard, like I guess sophomore year, because that's since like you can get your license or permit, you learn how to drive, you learn like woman, all that stuff for men, your
Yeah.
basic machista shit, I guess,
Not machista, but just like stuff as like a man that
Yeah,
like just
like
comes just has to learn.
Yeah,
for
but
them.
yeah, it was pretty hard. So it was that like not saying like my dad was a bad father, but I
Hmm.
just didn't have a father figure.
Not at all. It's just that he was in Texas and it's hard, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to communicate.
Yeah, I think I went like I would call every now and then, but I would think I went like 5 years without seeing him until like last year.
That's crazy as
Yeah.
fuck.
Basically since 16, I think, until when I was
Wow.
19, 20.
So
4
who
years.
taught you like all that you know? Like were you just like did you like YouTube it or what was it?
A lot of it was YouTube, but one of my friends, one of my brothers, I feel like he's my older brother.
Mhm.
Um,
He taught you.
He taught me Panchito. I'm gonna say his name because he's an important guy in my life. He's gonna be my best man on my way. Shout out Panchito. Love you.
Oh my god. Are you in love with him or
Yeah,
do you have to
Panchito.
confess something?
Yeah, I love you, Panchito. Yeah, I mean he taught me a lot of things. Like he taught me how to drive. Like this motherfucker, like, he had a nice truck. You remember the red truck, the Ford?
Yeah, I remember.
That's the truck I learned how to drive in, you know?
Yeah, I remember
like,
when I saw that truck, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he told
all
me
red
how to drive.
interior.
He told me, he just told me, he said, hey, you want to learn how to drive? I'm like, yeah. I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. Like I took obviously, you know, some of it, like, you kind of,
hey, that's good that he trusted you, because that's very
I
hard
was
to
a 16-year-old
find.
kid.
Yeah.
He was like 22.
You could have, like, crashed that bitch.
I could have died.
Yeah.
We could have died.
Yeah.
But, and it was in San Jose, too, like, downtown San Jose or something like that.
Hella cars.
Yeah, and then, we're just taking, I'm going slow. We're going in the streets. So, you know, he taught me a lot of stuff. Like, I'm still learning from him, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I see him, like,
he's a good guy.
The way he is right now, he's a hard, like, working man, you know. Like,
yeah.
And, you know, he, like, I guess it wasn't, like, a father figure.
Brother figure.
Like, as, like, an older brother figure. But, like, now looking back at it, it was, like, a father figure. But now...
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, but mainly, like, brother. But now, like, growing up, you know, he's living his life. You know, he can't really teach me everything. So that's, like, when my stepdad, like, we have a good relationship. I'm just, you know...
It's different.
Yeah, it's different, like, you know, but he has been there for me.
Yeah.
He teaches me things. Like, the way he teaches is not, like...
It's just he has a very traditional way of teaching.
And I didn't like it, but, you know, like, now that I look back at it,
you
it was
learn
like,
to, like...
I learned how to, like, okay, this is the way...
Right.
This is the way he fathers, so...
Yeah.
And then I accept it, you know, like, you know. And now with, like, my suegro, shout out suegro, you know, Jennifer's dad.
My dad.
Daddy. Yeah, I feel like he doesn't teach me a lot because I don't really talk to him.
Right.
But I do see him as a father figure just because, like, he supports me.
Yeah.
Like, financially, not always financially, but, like, he's strict on me too. Like, when I remember how Sierra, he's like, why the fuck do you have Sierra?
Sierra's a GMC that Fernando had.
I fucked up the transmission. He's like,
yeah, it was like a
94 GMC Sierra.
It was like a poor investment, I guess. At the time, we didn't realize it, but it was just.
We were starstruck. That's what it was.
It was a beautiful truck.
Yeah.
But he told you straight up. He was like, "Why the fuck are you buying trash?"
Yeah, and then, he's like, he supports me financially, and, like, not like he's not giving me, like, money, but, like,
but if you ever need it,
if I ever need, I know it's there. I know it's there with my stepdad, and I know it's there with, like, Panchito, and then also with my other friends, you know, like, even though they're living, like, their lives out there, you know, they're doing their own thing. I support them 110%.
Yeah, like, guys, by the time you're listening to this podcast, we're gonna be in fucking Yosemite, California.
Yeah,
we're gonna be, like, hanging out with our friends, and one thing about us is that we both are, like, so grateful for the people that we have around us today.
Yeah.
Like,
we love every single one of you guys.
Yeah. It's just insane.
Yeah, so.
Like, we were planning on moving to Texas, but now that, like, we, like, saw how, like, real our friends are and shit, like, it's like, no, we can't.
Like, no, like, even though we don't text each other every day, like, if I need them or they need me, I'm there for them, so. Going back to what I was saying, I feel like that's a good piece of, like, why I am the way I am.
Are. How do you think your life would have been if your parents were still together and you were back in Texas? Like, do you think about that?
I do think about it, but I don't know, because they did argue a lot. But I don't know if like, let's say they didn't argue, you know, they like had regular arguments, you know, they're a couple.
Yeah.
You know, I probably would have been in college, you know, playing football, because, you know, football in Texas is a big thing, you know. But I feel like I would have had, like, that support from both parents.
Right.
But, you know, everyone struggles, you know. But I'm glad this is the way, like, my life turned out, because my mom's happy and my dad's happy.
Right.
And then, you know, circumstances come out, but, like, I still love them to death, both of them.
Yeah. It's like that, like, just thinking of the what ifs and all of the possibilities, all the multiverses.
We wouldn't have been with each other.
Yeah, I wouldn't have met you if you were in Texas.
Wow.
Unless, like,
we were dating another fucking guy.
Yeah. Fuck.
Wow, cheater. Whatever.
How does that make me a cheater?
Anywho, enough about me. Going back to my host.
I know you guys are dying to hear from me.
Don't die yet. What was your core memory, or, like, what memory is the reason why you are the way you are?
I think it's not necessarily a memory, but, like, a thing, like, just growing up alone. It was very lonely growing up. I feel like there was, like, emotions that I couldn't process because I was, like, I couldn't talk to anyone. Like, if I had, like, a younger sibling, for example, like, when my parents, like, argued, or, like, you know, there was, like, situations that really, like, made me feel emotions, who the fuck could I talk to, you know?
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to my mom because then she would, like, cry and be like, why the fuck are you thinking that?
Yeah.
And I couldn't talk to my dad because, like,
he's
mad. Like, with my period, like, who the fuck could I talk to? Like, imagine if I had an older sister that was, like, you know, not
She
that
already been through
old,
this,
but
yeah.
yeah. And especially as like a first generation student now, like it's still affecting me today. When I was applying for schools, like fresh out of high school, I was like, what the fuck is a FAFSA? What the fuck is X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
How do I fill
How
out
do you
my
do
FAFSA
this?
if
Yeah.
like my parents have no social? I always think about the what if, like what if I had a sister or a brother that was close to my age. Like I said, I have a really hard time recalling my childhood because I'm traumatized. I was
Yeah.
dropped as a baby, but I don't know. It's just that I guess there's
Yeah.
like
I feel like a lot of people don't realize about like, you see on like TV and movies like being an only child. That shit's like.
it's sad. They make it seem sad too.
They really?
Yeah, and there's like
Wrong
episodes. I
movie.
don't know. Really, I
I
feel
feel
like
like if the way I think about it, like
you're spoiled as an
no,
only child.
like you get whatever the fuck you want, but
Which is true, but like it's just material. It's
I don't know.
just
I feel like if I was the only child, like sometimes I'd be like, damn, I wish I was the only child.
I don't know. I've grown to like just live with it basically.
I feel like that's why the way you are right now, but like it helps you too, because
Yeah,
like
I'm a loner. Like
that's
naturally.
that's not bad. That's not.
No, it's not. Like
yeah.
I like to be a loner. Like before though, in high school, I was like, fuck that. Like where are my friends? Because I need friends.
I don't know. It's just weird being alone because I wasn't alone.
Yeah,
You know,
you
so
can't relate.
I can't
But I can't
relate.
relate to your experiences
Yeah.
either.
Like I love sound. Like I got.
Oh my god, yeah, that's one thing. He loves sound, and obviously growing.
Okay, my mom grew up with fucking music every single day when she would clean, so that's why.
Yeah.
And then I put music on for like a little bit. And she's like, "Babe, turn that shit off now."
It's because like I grew up like alone. Like I love silence. Like I will literally like love a silent ass home. It makes me overthink, and I'm like, fuck, someone's gonna break in. Like there's like
exactly.
there's
Fuck
like
that
fucking
shit.
but still like I
It-
hear random footsteps, and I'm just like, ooh,
It'd be like,
Lord.
That's all you hear. And, like literally, when I come over sometimes, and like her parents are like buying groceries and doing stuff,
Yeah, we're
and then
alone.
she doesn't want the TV on. I'm just sitting there on the couch, and it's like all you hear is the heartbeat of the house. I'm like, yo, this shit's scary as fuck.
I just like silence. I get overstimulated easily now that I'm like an adult. That's pretty much it for this podcast.
Shout out to that one person who swiped up on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
Yeah, only one person.
Well, you only posted it once. I was posting it like 50
She was posting
times.
everywhere, but yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to know anything about us or like
Anything
Well,
specific.
yeah, we'll go briefly about it, but we'll try to keep in. Let us know if you want us to like do like questions and answer type of podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
or-
That's interesting.
Or one like specific topic,
Yeah. We want to like ease into this podcast thing. We don't want to like hit you with all of our funny traumatic experiences yet, just because there's a lot first of all,
Yeah.
and like
We're just trying to let you guys know what's before
before we
before we get famous and everything.
Oh my god, no, we're not.
Anyways, stay safe out there. I know it's a little bit rainy today. Stay
In the Bay
warm.
Area.
Sáquese los sueritas. That's how that's.
Saca tus sueritas.
Yes.
It's the summers. It finishes.
Yep.
Stay safe out there.
Stay safe. Stay
Thank
dry.
you so much
stay
for
warm.
listening. If you're driving and listening to this podcast,
Don't.
eyes on the road. And yeah,
If you are, shout out to you.
and we hope you get to your destination
Safe
safely
and soundly.
and soundly.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for listening. Bye, guys.